Hey, I'm Jordan, the mediocre millionaire. So today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough on the spreadsheet that I use today and the same spreadsheet that I've used ever since I was making $7.25. So you might know some people who are struggling financially. They're living paycheck to paycheck. And most people assume the reason why they can't save money is because they don't make enough money. But I actually learned through personal experiences, most of the time it's not about how much you're making, it's about how much you're spending. So this spreadsheet, I'll go through the entire thing. If you're a person that gets a little overwhelmed or intimidated by spreadsheets, don't even worry about that because I'm going to walk you through every single step. So before we get into the intro song, just go ahead and look in the description of the video and you can click on the template that I've created for you to use. It's the exact same spreadsheet that I have. So go ahead and get that pulled up and we'll get right into it.
What I want out here, yeah.
All right, so we're back. This is the spreadsheet right here in all of its glory. So you'll have two different sections. Up here we'll have your expenses, and then down here we'll have the different streams of income that you have. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Zoom in and scroll down. So here's the streams of income. They say that the typical millionaire has 7 streams of income. So I'll have 7 streams created for you right here. But let's just go along. I'm just going to create a generic version of it, and you can follow along and you can input your actual numbers in here too. So the first thing that you'll do is start to input the different streams of income. So let's say your main job, you bring home $750 a week. And keep in mind, this is not your gross income. You need to put your net income here. So this is the actual amounts that you bring home. Put those numbers here. Okay. So your main job, let's say you make $750. The second job that you have, let's say you have a part-time job and you bring home $150 a week in that job. And then you have a third job, maybe you're selling cookies or something on the side and it's $50 a week. Okay. So altogether you're doing $950 every week. Okay, let's go up to the top here. It's time to start putting in the creditors or the expenses that you have every month. The way that I manage my budget is I do it on a weekly basis instead of a monthly basis. It's a lot easier to track every single spend that way. As far as I'm concerned, it just makes total sense. I do this with my businesses and I also do it with my personal finances. So I definitely think that you should start to do this weekly. And I understand a lot of people get paid every other week, and that's fine. If you get paid every other week, then you would just combine these 2 weeks here and then you would combine these 2 weeks here. But let's just keep going here. So let's say the first expense that you have is your rent, and you'll see that is put there. And when is your rent due? Typically it's due on the first of the month. But if you have your rent scheduled to be paid week 1, a lot of the times people will pay a little bit late because they're thinking, I'll pay it on the 4th, I'll pay it on the 5th, but you actually need to be paying it week 4, which is why it's here. Okay. So you should have your last expense, or you should have your rent expenses on the last week always, because you want to pay it, let's say January 30th, or you want to pay it January 29th. You don't want to wait until February 6th because then you're going to be late in accruing late payments. You don't want to do that. So let's go on to the next expense that you have. Let's say it's your energy bill, and the energy bill is due on the 5th. You'll see that populate up there as well. If it's due on the 5th, then let's go ahead and put it here in week 1. So that's $185 there. And I do want to make sure I reiterate this too. If you have a bill that's due in between the 1st and the 8th, that should be paid week 1. If you have a bill that's due like between the 9th and the 16th, 17th, 18th, somewhere in there, that should be paid week 2. And it goes on that way. Okay. And of course, you want to make sure that you're paying things before their due date, not after their due date. Okay. So the next expense is going to be the cable and the internet, and that one, let's say it's due on the 11th. You'll put that, since it falls in week 2, you'll put that right here, week 2. Okay, and then we'll go to your trash service. That one is due on the 14th, and it's $65. The next expense is going to be your gas expense, and let's assume that one's due on the 15th. You'll pay that one on the 40, or you'll pay that one in week 2 as well. It's $40. Okay, student loans. That one is assumed to be due on the 22nd, and since it's due on the 22nd, do you think that's going to be week 1, week 2, or week 3? What do you think? All right, good guess. It's week 3. Okay, and insurance. That one is due on the 4th. So do you think that one should be week 1, week 2, week 3, or week 4? Good guess again. That one is due on the week 1 because it's between the 1st of the month and the 8th of the month or so. And keeping on with the trends, groceries, that's something that you'll need every week most likely. I know my wife goes shopping for groceries every single week. And I'm just going to have that, let's say $100 every single week here. And then the next thing that I like to set up is my tithing, because I tithe every single week. I'm hoping and praying that you all do the same thing. God asks for 10%, and if your weekly income is $950, like we said before, 10% of that is $95. So let's go ahead and put your tithe here on this line, which goes straight across. And you'll notice as we're going, the expense sheet here, which is in the red, it's continually, it automatically adds everything up for you as you type in your numbers. So that makes the spreadsheet a whole lot easier. Everything auto-populates. Okay, so we'll keep on moving across. And then I know a lot of people have those dreaded car payments. So I figured I'd go ahead and put a line in for car payments too. And let's say it's due on the 21st and it's $200. Okay. And that goes in week 3. The way that you pay these bills is I pay mine every Friday. So every Friday, whenever I get all of my checks deposited into my account, I look to see which week is coming up. So let's say if I get paid on, let's say December 30th, right? If I get paid on December 30th, then I know that I'm going to be paying the first week payments coming up. Okay, so if you get paid on December 30th, you should be looking at paying these payments right here. And then the next week, let's say if you get paid on January 5th, then you should be looking at paying week 2 bills because you're already in week 1. At January 5th, you're already in week 1. So when you get paid on that Friday, January 5th, you should be looking at week 2 payments, paying all of those. Okay. So let's get back to the spreadsheet here. The next thing I do whenever I input all of my numbers is I go to the bottom and look at the expenses. And what you want to do is eliminate any variables that you can possibly eliminate. That is what gets people in trouble, is all the different variable costs. Okay. That's things that go just up and down, right? So right here, you'll see week 1, your total expenses is $465. Your week 2 is $405. Week 3 is $745. And then week 4 is $1,095. So understand that week 4 is always going to be an outlier because week 4 is where your rent or your mortgage is paid, and those should be your highest expense. Out of everything that you do, your rent and mortgage should be the highest expense. So week 4 is always going to be an outlier, so you can't fix that. What you do want to do is get these 3 weeks as close to even as you possibly can. So this one's at $465, this is $405, and this is $745. So the $745 is way too high. So what I like to do is look at these expenses and determine which one I can move to either week 2 or week 3. Okay, so week 3, if you pay this one here during this week here, you're paying it early, so you're fine. You really don't want to move anything from week 1 to week 3 because then you're going to be late. You follow me? So in this example, let's say we're going to take away the car payment, which is $200 from this week. We'll take that payment away, and we're going to put that payment on week 2. So we move that up and you're paying it 1 week early. So now you've got 465 week 1, 605 week 2, and 545 week 3. It's still a little bit off, but it's pretty close. So if you look at these again, you can take away the trash service from week 2, and then you can put that trash service expense over into week 1, pay that one early. Now we've got an expense of $530 the first week, $540 the second week, and $545 the third week. That is what you want. So now you'll know that every week except the rent or mortgage week, you're going to be paying right at $540 every week. So that takes away your crazy variable spending, right? Doing that, it gives you the same amount of disposable income. That's the income that you have available to spend however you want to spend. If 1 week you have $400 to spend however you want, and then the next week you only have $100 to spend however you want, you're going to get confused and overspend 1 week and mess the entire month of the whole month budget up. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so let's move a little further ahead on this. Now you want to start looking at your mortgage. Okay, so let's look down here at the weekly income, and you'll see you've got your disposable income, which is $420 there, $410 there, and $405 there. Okay, but then you've got this week here, since your mortgage or your rent plus your groceries is more than you bring in, you have a negative number here. We can't have any negative numbers. So what you want to do in this instance is borrow against all of these positive weeks that you have to make up for this negative 145. So to do that, you just put it in the mortgage section. So let's assume we're going to take $150 out of week 1, and we're just going to put that in our savings account. We're going to take $150 week 2, put that in our savings account in the second week. And then we're going to take $150 and put that into our savings account. And then it all goes. So that $150, that's $450 that's going to go towards paying your 4th week. So before you had a negative 145, but if week 1 you take $150 and put that into your savings account so you can pay this, now you're at a positive $5. Week 2, now you're at $155, and then week 3, now you're at $305. So that's how you do that. And then if you look at these, they're all pretty similar now. Week 1, you're at $270 disposable income. Week 2, you're at $260. Week 3, you're at $255, and then week 4, you're at $305. So that's exactly what you want. Everything right there level like that. So it keeps you from overspending. It keeps you from blowing up the budget in just 1 week. Okay. So next thing that we'll look at is your savings. Okay, this is an important line. Maybe I should have made this a different color, the savings department. But what I'll typically do is I'll save about half of what my disposable income is. So in this instance, we've got $270 here, $260, $255, $305. I'll look at the lowest one, and I'll just say, okay, half of, or not the lowest one, but one of the lowest, and I'll say, the half of $260 is $130. So that's what we're going to save every week is $130. We'll put the savings there, $130, savings $130, and the savings $130 there, and then savings $130 in the 4th and final week of the month. So this is typically what it looks like whenever it's completely finished. When you have all of your expenses, you've got all the creditors listed, you've got all of the weeks, all of your expenses in the correct week. This is what it looks like. Okay, so the next thing that you'll do is you'll go over on this line here. So you'll look at this line every single Friday, every time you get paid. If you get paid on Thursday, and you'll go to it every Thursday, whatever it may be. So every payday, you'll operate out of this line right here. Okay. First thing that you do is you enter your account total for the day. So let's assume that you got paid today, right? And you had a few dollars in your account before you got paid. So now that you've gotten your $950 for this week's payments, now you're up to $1,031.85 in your account. Okay, so that's what you type in there, exactly what you have in your account for the day. And then the next thing you'll do, let's assume that this is January 5th, okay? And you're going to be paying week 2 payments. So let's assume that. So we've got how much our current total is in our account. And then we'll go to week 2 payment. We got 105. So we'll bring that over there and type in 105. The next thing we'll do is go down the list. We've got $40 right here at the gas. So we'll type in $40 there. Next thing that we have on the list is $100 here. So let's bring $100 there. And then under that one is $200, which is there. So everything that you have to pay for week 2, you should have it right here. This is the real time number. Okay. And then we have $95 for tithe, because we all tithe, right? And then $150 for mortgage. You know, that's the part that you put into your savings to help you pay for this 4th and final week. And then we have savings, so $130 that we put into our savings account. And then we total all of that up, and it gives you the disposable income that you have for the week. Okay, so the disposable money that you have for the week is $166.85. That is money that you can go spend however you want to for the week. You cannot go over that amount, but you can always spend less than that. If you spend less than that, let's say if you only spend $100, then the next payday you'll have, instead of 1,031, you'll have somewhere between like 1,055, something like that. It just continues to increase, and then you'll add more money into your savings. So instead of paying $130 into savings that week, maybe you'll pay $145 into your savings that week, and you just continue to grow it that way. All right. So hope that makes sense. This makes perfect sense to my brain. It's what I created. It's not anything that I'm selling to people. I just give this information out because I know how much it helped me and helped my family out. Again, I was using this back when I was working at Target, making $7.25 an hour. And I still use it now that I make several times that amount. Back then, I was barely able to pay rent, barely able to buy Taco Bell and all that kind of stuff. But keeping this going to this every single payday has helped me eliminate all of those issues. So now that I've consistently done this, the money that those deposits that I put into my savings account every single week, whether it's $200 here, $300 there, a couple thousand here and there, whatever it may be, before you know it, you look at your account, and instead of it being around 200 or 300 and you keep pulling money out of it, you'll have 5,000, 7,000, and you won't even need it because you have this budget that you rely on, and you use your discipline to follow every single week. So yeah, that's the spreadsheet in a nutshell. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I'll be sure to be following this pretty extensively so I can answer any questions that you have. I'm hoping and praying that you use this, because I know if it helped me, it'll help you too. So yeah, that's all that I have for you today. I'm Jordan again with Mediocre Millionaire. Take care. God bless. Peace.
What I want out here, yeah.